We do have to start with Joe Root, of course. Another century for him. You know him well. You work closely with him at England. How impressed were you with that?
I thought yesterday's innings was fantastic. I thought his fluency right from the start, he got a pull away early for 4 and he just looked magnificent. I thought he was a bit scratchy to start with in the previous test in Antigua, but I thought yesterday it really was high quality right from the very start, and he just looked magnificent throughout, and he looks set today hopefully for a very, very big score.
How good is he and how important is he to England, would you say, Paul?
Well, I think he's going to prove to be the best. You know, he'll go past Alastair Cook's record of leading run test scorer for England. And I think he will prove to be the best player. I mean, I think what you have to also understand is not only is he playing fantastically well, but he's also carrying the burden of England's batting, and he has done now for quite some time, and that's not being unkind to others. You know, there are players who are finding their way. We saw the start of Alex Lees yesterday, started very nicely. I thought Dan Lawrence played the best innings I've seen him play for England yesterday and really justified his selection. But there are others in the team who are still trying to find their feet, and for Joe Root to play as well as he has, be as consistent as he has throughout that period, just shows how good a player he is, both technically and mentally, to cope with that extra pressure that he carries.
And Paul, you mentioned Dan Lawrence there. Missed out on a first Test century, so it was a little bit of heartbreak for him. But 91, what will he take from that? What will he learn?
Well, I think he'll take a lot of confidence in the way that he played. He came in, Alex Lees had played, I thought, really well. I thought technically Alex Lees sorted out a few issues from the first test in Antigua. He kept his front pad out of the way, played very straight, played late, and I thought Lees played really well, and he allowed Joe Root to get in and build a good platform. And that's what England have been desperate for, to have that really good platform. And he goes back probably to the South African series 3 years ago when Sibley, Denley at the top of the order gave England that really good platform. So, you know, I thought Lawrence played brilliantly. He'll be massively disappointed not to have got 100, but he'll also take an awful lot of positive confidence in the way that he played and the rate that he scored. He really put England in a good position to push on now and get a big score today.
Paul, just a word on Alex Lees. The opener scored 30 from 138 balls in his second ever Test match. Do you think he's got the game to succeed at Test level? Does he look like he's got the ability? Definitely.
I think he... You know, I thought he played really well. Yes, I thought he lined the ball up really well. You know, the West Indies attack know that he is susceptible to LBW early on, but I thought he played really well. I thought his first half an hour, 40 minutes was absolutely outstanding, the way that he played. Technically brilliant. I thought he's got a lot of composure. He's very confident. He's very mature. He knows his game really well. And I think he will kick on and do very well for England. But I was very impressed with the way that he played yesterday. Having had a tough first Test match in the previous game, 2 single-figure scores, to play as well as he did yesterday, I thought showed real resolve. And that's what you're looking for. You never quite know when a player plays for England, you never quite know how they're going to cope with the scrutiny and the extra pressure of Test match cricket. And it is a massive step up from first-class cricket. But I thought yesterday he showed that he's got the game to succeed at Test match level.
Yeah, and talking of kicking on, let's look ahead to today in a bit more detail. What score do you think that England will be targeting? What can they achieve?
Well, I think the first thing will be to get past this new ball. So the new ball's 4 overs old. They took it yesterday evening, and I think that will be the first thing. First half an hour, we know that the West Indies bowlers are going to come hard at the England batters. So that first half an hour, 40 minutes, it's important to get in, get back in, get the pace, get the bounce of the wicket, because the ball definitely misbehaved at times. There was extra little bit of bounce, a little bit tennis ball-y bounce at times. So the first thing is to get in, and then I think the key then will be to look to score 90 runs, 90, 95 runs in that first session, and push on to get somewhere in the region of 450 plus by tea time. And England have still got 4 high-quality batters who can help Joe Root get to that stage. So, you know, England are in a fantastic position, but the key thing this morning in the dressing room, they'll be talking about, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Let's just do it in half an hour chunks. First half an hour, get in, get the pace, get the bounce, and then let's look to kick on from there. But I think 450 will be in Joe Root's mind sometime around the tea interval today.
And then all eyes are going to be on the bowling attack, Paul. I mean, there's so much talk, hasn't there, about Anderson and Broad, but we've got a couple of debutants in the bowling department in Saqib Mahmood and Matthew Fisher. What can England fans expect from those two, do you think?
Well, look, I don't think we can expect them to run up and get 5 for on their debuts. That's the first thing we've got to take into account. The great thing is that Jack Leach had a fantastic game in Antigua, so he'll have a lot of confidence. He'll be able to play that holding role in the first innings, and this wicket will break up, and I expect Jack Leach to come into the game more and more in the second innings. But in Saki Mahmood, I think England have got a really exciting, high-quality bowler who swings the ball. He's a skiddy trajectory. He hits the pitch and skids off the surface. So I think he'll do 1 or 2 for pace early on. And in Matthew Fisher, I think you've got someone who a little bit taller, hits the seam quite hard, will get that little bit extra bounce. But, let's not get too carried away and expect too much from them today. But this is where Wokes really has to stand up. This is his game to stand up, be the leader and show that he is the high-quality bowler that we all know he is. Forget his stats. And actually, this is a game for him to stand up and lead the attack. And I really hope that he does at some point in this game.